Welcome into Cleveland Browns Daily. Let's go straight to the podium. Defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz.
Greg,
You're done.
we've been playing in the slot for you this season so far, and do you feel good about Cam or whoever else will play?
Yeah, Cam's had to come in and play for us in the past. He's been reliable to do his job. Come in some situations where he hasn't got a lot of practice reps and gone in, and if he has to play this week, he'll have gotten a lot of practice reps. And I think I'll stay in my theme of evaluating all our players as 4 and 3.
You mentioned, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, how you weren't pleased with the red zone defense, and then obviously gave up some more touchdowns against Seattle. What do you see that's not getting done down there that you think needs to be done?
Well, I think the biggest thing is we have to stop people from running the ball across our goal line. If we're going to take pride in being a physical defense, that starts with run defense. And, it gets accentuated in the red zone. The field shrinks a little bit, and we have to do a better job of stopping the run. I think that's probably the biggest thing.
Does it matter to you who plays quarterback for them? Two guys who haven't played all year?
Well, yeah. It matters who's playing, who's playing left guard. It matters who's playing wide receiver. We're going to take it all into consideration. I think that, we have 8 games of their offense on film. And with Dobbsy running it, they ran a lot of quarterback runs, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's anything different with Kyler Murray if he plays. And I would expect, if the rookie plays, for them to, stay with what they've done. I don't imagine that they would change the entire game plan just for one guy. I think there was a reason that they wanted to fit Dobbs into that role. So, we're going to look at the scheme. We're going to take into account players' individual strengths and weaknesses as we put our scheme together. But we'll be ready, whatever they decide to do.
He's a big guy. Does he run the same stuff?
Well, he didn't in the preseason. They ran the offense, but he didn't run a lot of the quarterback runs. But a lot of teams don't run those quarterback runs in the preseason, right? Well, they have it. They have a lot of stuff on tape from the first 8 games, and so we're going to prepare for that scheme, and then we're going to prepare for the individual talents of players. So Tune played a lot in the preseason, threw a lot of passes, so we have pretty good evaluation of that stuff, and we have, like I said, we have 8 games of what they do on offense, and we just got to melt those together if that's the guy. If it's another guy, then, we have to melt it together with the individual strengths and weaknesses of that player, so.
How good was the Murray's first interception on tape, and just how good has he been for you guys this year?
Yeah, Mo's been, I don't want to say a pleasant surprise because he's been a good player. He had a setback with injuries the last few years, and, and had a hard time getting started in training camp because of some injuries. But now that he's healthy, he's really made good strides. He's attacked before. He was with San Fran, so he's played in the scheme before. So his development probably a little bit ahead of some other guys that have never done it before. Gives us some pass rush, and that was just a really outstanding play. We sort of sandwiched really good play with really poor play. We started off the first 3 series, and we had a lot of fires to put out. We made a few adjustments, and we sort of found our stride, and we went 7 series of playing about as good a defense as you can play, like punt, punt, interception, punt, punt, interception, punt. And then it was just so disappointing to leave it there at the end of the game. Our offense needed us the most right there after an interception. They needed us the most, and we didn't get the job done. So we feel a tremendous responsibility for that. But the more plays we can make like Mo made, and an interesting thing with that, he had never practiced that position. We had some injuries with Zadarius and some other guys, and we had sort of mix and matched our defensive line guys, and he went in and at most he had gotten mental reps on that blitz, but went in and executed it really well, and then athletically made a really good catch. But we need more of that. We need more of that middle of the game. We can't be a feast or famine defense. That's not a way to play. That's not a way to play defense. And our run game was feast and famine too. We played, most of our snaps really good in the run game, but then we give up 3 big plays in the run game, and that's not going to get it done. That's not where we want to be. That's not where we need to go to take this team where we want to go.
You weren't getting any turnovers. You were worried that if you start going for them, that's what you don't want to see. So now you're getting the turnovers and the tackling is falling off. Did you fall victim to what you feared?
No, not in those cases, Tone. I mean, like Mo was doing his job in the scheme. MJ was doing his job in the scheme, playing really good technique. But I think you did see some examples of it. Some of the gaps in our run game were us chasing boots, and our eyes got distracted. Instead of doing our job in the run game, we were trying to make a sack, and hard to get a sack on a run play. So, so I think that, we have had to guard against that. And, I think that there is there's a fine line between, doing your job and then trying to do too much. And we've talked about that ad nauseum in here and, everywhere else. If we just do our job, if we just be us the best that we can be, the plays will come to us. We don't need to hunt plays. And, we can make those. I was disappointed in the game that, we missed 2 or 3 sacks. I think that really could have changed the complexion of that game. And we can't now change personality because we missed those sacks. We just got to finish those plays when they come up next time, as opposed to trying to do something different. And I think that it's probably a tale as old as time, from Pee Wee to high school to college to NFL. Where playing your job and letting the plays come to you, as opposed to trying and not it's not like our guys trying to play outside the scheme or anything else. It's all right, I see this split, this is what route's coming, and instead of anticipating and playing your technique, all of a sudden you can jump things a little too much, and then you end up with feast or famine football. But for the most part, I don't think that was the thing in this game. We just had a hard time getting started. Took us a few series to really find some footing. We changed an awful lot in those first 3 series, and I was really proud of the guys because they really found their footing. But then the way we ended that game was extremely disappointing for all of us.
About that, the starts. Highsmith, I know from the Steelers, got that 1 touchdown, but still, you guys are giving up more points in the first quarter than any other quarter. So, do you have an explanation for that, or what can be done to get better starts?
Yeah, I mean, you could look at a lot of ways. Maybe we make really good adjustments. Yeah, we talk about starting fast, but you're going to have things when a game's new that an offense is doing something maybe a little bit different, and we have to make adjustment to what that is. I think in those first series, we just have to play our technique and our responsibility, and if we do that like our message is that's enough. If we do those things, so there is always. I mean, the game is 60 minutes long. Seasons now are 17 plus weeks. There's going to be a lot of adjustments and ebbs and flows of a season, right? There's going to be things that an offense does that try to take advantage of what you do, and then the defense takes countermeasures, and then the offense. I mean, that's a constant thing throughout a season, but also throughout a game. But yeah, we need to start better. We need to start faster. And we need to stop the run. In the games that we've stopped the run, we played really well. In games that we've been leaky in the run game, whether it was this last one giving up a few big plays, or a game like the Colts where we just gave up a lot of smaller gains, but we didn't control the run game. Baltimore, we didn't control the run game. When we control the run game, good things happen for us on defense, and that's our focus.
Hetzing, knowing your personnel so well, and then Jonathan Gannon having taken over for you in Philadelphia and probably knowing a lot of the nuances of your scheme. Do you just do what you do, or do you have to change up some of your looks and fronts to kind of cross them up a bit?
Well, he was here too, so we have a lot of experience in our building with him too. So that probably works both ways. I'm sure all my playbooks were on the server when I left Philadelphia. But, people change terminology. They, adapt to their players. What we're doing now is probably about maybe 40 or 50% different than what we did in Philadelphia. Not just because we have different players, but because the league goes through ebbs and flows and, different things like that. So, and we also have a significant number of different faces on defense. So, when it's all said and done, it might help with a little bit of preparation, might make our preparation a little bit easier at times. But when it comes down to it, it's Sunday. It's going out and performing and executing and playing, physical and playing with effort and playing with some passion for the game.
That's why you were in not being able to get that last stop after the interception. What did you identify as what was the biggest issue?
Yeah, well, it was the one play missing a tackle. They throw a short pass. We end up in zone on that play, and we had played a good technique in the zone to force him to throw a 3 or 4 yard and then missed tackle, and that put him in field goal range. And then all of a sudden they're in field goal range, and the game completely changes. So that's probably, and the exact same thing happened to us in San Fran. San Fran was man, right? But it got a completion, and when we're going to do some more stuff in some 2-minute situations in practice. And just add to our periods a little bit more, because when the game's on the line like that, we have to perform better. All right, guys.
You're up. All right, there you go. Jim Schwartz at the podium as we welcome you in on a Thursday edition of the program. I like it. That's strong. I like it. That's
thank you.
A couple in a row. Good
You
job,
look
Well, this is fantastic.
You look great.
This is the unbelievable hoodie. This is an incredible gift out of you. There will be a reciprocation that I'm working
it's
on.
called a gift.
I understand, but there will be.
I
I'm
know.
working on some things.
Yeah.
This is the perfect hoodie for this.
Oh my gosh.
For this weather.
And I like the way it's cut.
It's got a nice cut to it.
The angles.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
We don't want to talk
Quilted.
about it too much.
Well, no.
I want to talk about
Well,
it
no
too
one's
much.
going to find it with that beautiful horse on the side.
No. How you been?
I'm good. Good. I'm feeling good. Everybody's heard we've got a lot of talk about zip. We're not talking about Akron, but we're talking about the zips on the ball.
Big win for Akron last night in the wagon wheel.
Action.
They beat Kent, and they get to. That was their second win of the season, I believe, for Joe Moorhead.
It was 1-7 v 1-7.
Give me Cam.
It was on
Yeah.
ESPNU.
What happened to Kents with the? Why aren't they good at football anymore?
Kent had a
great
good year
run.
last
Antonio
year.
Gates isn't walking through that door.
Easy. They've been good since then. They've had some good teams.
Yeah, they had a great team.
A couple of years ago, they were one of the top offenses.
Right,
Their
yeah.
offensive coordinator.
Where did Edelman
is
go?
in-
Oh, that's right. He went
he's
to
at
Colorado. That's right.
Where'd
Yeah.
Edelman go?
Edelman was Kent State, right?
Yeah.
The wagon wheel doesn't compare to Bowling Green v. Ball State on ESPN2, which my father was quite pleased was the case last night.
That game was on. That was last night. Was that a rivalry game?
Not at all. That was 4-4 versus 2-6.
You got to be the Toledo, right? You in Toledo. That's the big one. What's that called?
I think it's the Peace Pipe. It's now something else, but
Why would you change that name?
You shouldn't.
well,
Why would you change that name?
I don't
Peace
remember.
Pipe is something
They're-
that
they have some kind
It's
of
beautiful.
angle now, or they have some.
We're gonna
I don't
smoke
know
the
what
Peace Pipe
it is.
together.
right.
now-
That's the beautiful thing. The Native
good.
Americans come into the teepee. We'll smoke the peace pipe.
And that means our beef is over.
Uncle Tom had a teepee on the property, up behind the house. Little
All right,
peace pipe
it-
action.
It used to be that.
What was
and
it?
It's now
What was it,
something else.
what
I
was
don't- It's the Battle of
it made up? What was
I-75
it?
The
trophy.
teepee?
Yeah.
I don't.
Canvas, I believe.
It was
his.
canvas.
Yeah, it wasn't hides.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. It's some trophy. It used to be really cool. It used to be the Peace
I
Pipe.
was hoping
one.
it was
I love
hides.
Takes a lot of hides to do a big teepee.
For sure.
Yeah, it takes a lot.
Bill
and
Walton.
and also it would have to be, and you can't hunt bison,
No.
so you're going to be talking about you're going to probably be cow. would
What
be
do you
the
think
hide
it
of
was
choice.
though? What would the
They would have been buffalo or bison.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There you
that's
go.
what they.
But
would have
like,
been.
shout out to the Zips. I think they scored like 21 or 24 in the fourth quarter to come back and win. They were down by 3 scores.
Yeah. It was AIDS at the game. Did you take
She
it
was
in?
supposed to be.
Yeah,
I don't know if tailgating went awry, but my kid did not make it to the
she
game.
did not make it to the game.
No.
Okay, very good. And the molder of the boys. She's one of the molders of the boys. We saw her on Saturday.
I was going to say, I didn't realize she was at the compound on Saturday.
She was there on Saturday. Got through the retina scan just fine. We now got her on file, so she was
Wow.
in charge of the children. Yeah.
What did you guys do? What was your
we
big night
had
out?
well, couldn't do much because we had the Buckeye game at 7:30. Little
Yeah.
7:30. So we had a dinner. The blonde and I had a dinner, and then we're back by 7:30 to watch the Buckeye game. So it was
Just
quick.
a little date night?
Yeah, it was quick, hour and a half.
Oh, baby.
It was like an
Little
AARP
downtown
dinner.
140?
Well, and she had a.
It was like
no,
an
it was the
AARP.
club. She had a. It is. That's our life now. Is that?
Well,
I got
I
got
get it.
basketball practices from 4 to 9 tonight, and no stops in between. So look, there won't even be. I'll have to eat dinner at 3:30. That's where we're at, kids. That's where we're
Gross.
at on a game week edition.
Sounds awful.
That could have went in another way.
Could have. Yeah, it's close.
All right, let's take a quick timeout. We'll update you on velocity and zip and all of those things.
Zip, baby.
We'll get into that coming up next. We're off and running. Cleveland Browns Daily 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, welcome back in. Hot topics of the day presented by Vivid Seats, official fan experience partner of your Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson with a media availability in the right around noon, I guess, is when it took place, and told reporters earlier he's not sure if he'll be able to play on Sunday. We know we saw him throwing yesterday.
Zip.
And he had a little bit of zip. in the step.
Amari
We'll
today,
see.
Team Zip, according to the cardiac kid.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so they'll be back on the practice field today at 1:30.
I think if you
so in 10 minutes, right?
I think if he goes through today and he puts in a full today, puts in a full tomorrow, I think he's going to head in this game without an injury designation, and I think he's going to start. I think right now that is the trend. What we're preparing ourselves for and not locking it in is could something change, but he's feeling the best he's felt. He's throwing the ball the best he's thrown it. It feels like he is back. And I wouldn't read – so I want to give you the number of names that are on this injury report. David Bell, knee, DNP, 1. Joel Bitonio, not injury-related, rest, 2. Amari Cooper, not injury-related, rest, 3. Delpit, ankle, shoulder, limited, 4. Tony Fields, shoulder, full, 5. Jerome Ford, ankle, limited, 6. Mike Ford, glute, limited, 7. Myles Garrett, not injury-related, rest, 8. DeJuan Jones, shoulder, DNP, 9. Cam Mitchell, groin, shoulder, full, 10. Greg Newsome, groin, DNP, 11. Chief, DNP, ankle, 13. Zadarius, not injury-related, rest, DNP, that's 14. Sione Takitaki, hamstring, limited, 15. Anthony Walker, shoulder, limited, 16. Deshaun Watson, right shoulder, limited, 17. Jed Wills, foot, ankle, DNP, 17?
18.
18. Alex Wright, knee, DNP, 19. They have 7 on theirs, by the way. We have 19. I wouldn't
say, how many humans do we have in the roster?
I wouldn't read too much into this on a lot of these, and the ones that I'm gonna tell you that I'm not reading too much into, because they all they did was a 7-on-7 was the only part that was like a full speed practice. The rest was a jog through, is what Kevin Stefanski said yesterday. So in a 7-on-7, you really have no idea if your offensive lineman would practice or not. So Jed Wills played, reportedly was no worse for wear coming out of that game. DeJuan Jones, same thing. I think that we'll see today, but I think both could return to practice today. And so I wouldn't get too worried about this. If this list stays like this going into Friday, that becomes more of a concern, but I think we're going to see a big change in this list going into tomorrow. But from their standpoint, some interesting ones. First is Michael Wilson, who has 401 yards, averaging 16 yards per catch. Their rookie out of Stanford, DNP shoulder. And Amari DiMercado, their leading running back right now, James Conner on IR, DNP toe. So someone to keep an eye on there. Kyler Murray, quote-unquote, full, but the reports were, at least in the open portion of media, he was on the side throwing to practice squad guys, not working with the team. That was Clayton Tune and Jeff Driscoll, not even Clayton Tune and Kyler getting reps. It was Clayton Tune and Jeff Driscoll.
You've said it all week long. It makes sense for him, and not just because it's wishful thinking on our part, but just if you were operating the Arizona Cardinals, why throw him into this snake pit like this?
Yeah.
This is not going to be perfect conditions. Even if it's going to be okay, it's not going to be perfect.
That's right.
Who knows what the turf's going to be like? This defense, no thanks. Next week at home, climate controlled. We'll see it on
Atlanta. Grady Jarrett's on IR. Are their best pass rusher? Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit of a soft landing spot for your. I think they are an interesting team though, because I don't know that their mind is made up on what they're going to do with him, or if they're in a position to draft one of these quarterbacks, how they handle that.
I think that's why you want to play him and play him in advantageous situations.
You want to play him so that and so that also to potentially showcase.
Correct.
Because I think there'd be a great deal of interest in him if he were on the market.
I would agree with that. I think there would be a great deal of interest as we see the dearth, a.k.a. the paucity of quality quarterback play going on right now. Tequila phone home. What I like, though, is so he had the water bottle in this hand.
Yeah.
He dialed it, held it up, but then also went like this.
That's true. He had it both sides.
No, you had already established this as the phone.
This is it. Come on, Tequila.
By the way, that's the size of a cell phone in the late 90s.
Yeah, the Zach Morris. Yeah. The boys asked me, NBC said, when did you get your first cell phone? I said, college. And he goes, what do you mean? And I'm like, yeah. And it was literally, bud, just a phone.
This is so much more powerful than any computer we interacted with.
Dude, come on.
Through college. Probably computer.
All the way through. Yeah, for sure. There was nothing.
And it's a camera. Kids, I remember when you had to take a camera everywhere and then you had to drop the film off.
The film?
And then you had to pick it up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Think about what happened to the Kodak company with this.
Sad for them.
Yeah. Unfortunate. Didn't see it coming.
Listen, there were a lot of people. I think I knew a buddy in high school who worked at one of those film development places. You'd oftentimes like a drive up.
Yeah, for sure. Drop it in and.
Well, the other thing is somebody
got
to see all of your pictures.
That's right.
And some of them were pretty good.
That's right. That's true. There was a perk to that job, if I
There was a
remember.
great
that.
perk to that job.
Some fantastic perks.
Works out well for
We got
everybody.
AB walking around.
Oh yeah, sure.
The
sure,
great
sure,
AB.
sure.
That guy giving us a strong jaw.
A bit of a stink eye out of that guy he's
Yeah.
with, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit of a
He's
tour,
getting a
maybe?
tour by AB. Must be a man of consequence,
Feels
I
like
would
a
say.
little bit of a tour is happening here. We do have a transaction. We signed tackle Leroy Watson to the active roster, officially in his first NFL season out of UTSA. Originally signed as an undrafted free agent by Atlanta. Watson spent his rookie season and all of 23 on the Niners practice squad.
It says he's 6'5", 260, so
Seems smallish.
not the biggest. So he was giving up 115 pounds, if that's right, to our guy DeJuan Jones. But obviously, good athlete, good in space, knows the zone scheme coming from
Where he's
Kyle.
been, yeah.
Yeah,
UT San Antonio Roadrunners.
that sounds right.
Griff says Roadrunners.
Nailed it.
He would know.
Yeah.
Deep in the heart of Texas.
Yeah.
Relishing in the Rangers' first World Series win.
No, he's the one who watched.
I think
Bochy.
Malencic
No.
did. There might have been two.
Bochy. That's what my dad kept asking me. Bochy.
Who's that?
Bruce Bochy, the manager of the Rangers, who was for a time the manager of the Giants.
Hold on
And
a
the
second.
Padres.
Bochy's the manager of the
Yes.
He's
of
the World
Rangers?
Series.
Yeah.
He's won all those World Series with the Giants, and now he won one with Texas?
Yeah, Bochy.
Yeah, his
Bochy
fourth.
is a guy,
His fourth.
man.
Dude,
He's
Bochy's
the Robert
a guy.
Horry of managers.
Wow.
Bochy.
I saw Lachlan Murdoch on the big call this morning with the Fox people, not pleased with the World Series at all. At all.
Let's see. Game 1 was on a Friday night.
They're all 8:30.
Who's watching? You followed it up with a Game 2 on a Saturday night college football.
Oh, yeah, you can't.
By the way, Pro Football Reference says Leroy's 3'11". So
That feels more right.
we have a 51-pound discrepancy.
I'm going to go with their numbers. Considering he's a tackle, they're in a lot of 260-pound tackles. This is at 1964. So I think that's. I feel like he'd be a.
I'm just telling you, it
I
says it
understand.
right.
I feel like
gotta
he's
I gotta
playing
get
a
eyes on
different.
him.
I feel like he's playing a different position if he's 260 something.
Maybe we signed him off the Niners '84
It
practice
could be a
squad.
center at 260, maybe.
Remember when Madden would make such a big deal about the Cowboys with the
All
weight of their
300
offensive line?
pounders.
They're all 300 pounders.
Yeah.
And he'd circle them.
Just
Circle their
for
weights.
reference, we are 310, 320, 320, 315, 375.
That's a little bit more like it. Yeah, I don't think we're bringing in 260.
I don't think so either.
Doesn't
Pro
seem
Football
right.
Reference says 311. Makes me feel a little bit better.
That seems a little bit more right for sure. Yeah, World Series. I didn't watch a second of it. My kids didn't ask to watch a
Not
second
one.
of it.
I watched two batters in the eighth against Chapman, and he retired them.
Aroldis Chapman.
Yeah.
he's
Still
he's
playing.
pitching for the Rangers.
For the Rangers.
Wow. Yeah. I guess I did know people in the World Series. I've been saying I don't know anybody. I know my boy Corey Seager won the MVP. I saw that this morning. He
Yeah.
was with the Dodgers.
He got the hit that it was a 7. It was scoreless through 7. I flipped it on for 1 second. It was scoreless through 7. He got the hit that led to the one run.
This will be a historically low from a rating standpoint. This is what happens when you play the most important games of the year past 8:30 at night in the East Coast for 25 years. No one's seen an important baseball game.
No.
Kids haven't. And now you grow up
Unless
having
you're
not
living
being used
in
to
that
watching
market.
it. Yeah, that's 3.
That looks like 311 to me.
Yeah, that ain't no 265.
That looks
Coach.
like 260.
Not the band. The weight.
It's interesting because that sport is still
Down.
Baseball's become a lot like how the NHL is, whereas you care about the team in your town, but you don't care about the sport.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's basically.
I would say as a youth, I remember football still being immensely popular, like especially in my house. I mean, the calendar was built around the 49ers, and then Monday Night Football was on every single week in our house. Halftime of Monday Night Football was like must watch because that's where you got highlights
league.
of the whole league. So you got to see it. But baseball
postseason was. I mean, I remember
Everything.
about Braves, Pirates, in an NLCS with Bonds and Sid Bream.
A's, Red Sox for me.
Oh, A's, Red Sox, absolutely. Yeah, you remember all of those.
Oh, man.
Things. The Mets in '86, like
Sure.
the Twins and Braves, Braves and Blue Jays, like Phillies and Blue Jays rather. I mean, there were so many of those that are crystallized all the way through.
It's been like this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know the gap. I mean, what were the ratings for this?
Well, they're like 7 million. Like the game 1 of the World Series would have been the third highest watched college football game from last weekend.
I think the last game of the World Series was the lowest rated World Series game ever.
Yeah, that's in play. I mean, the two teams that are playing in it don't help. The fact that one of them won 86 games, the other one 90, and you have 100-win teams like the Dodgers and the Orioles and the Braves who didn't get out of the postseason in the first rounds with the wild card. So, not great. Not great.
Mad Dog Russo shouldn't be working anymore.
No, I agree. I think he should be. I love Doggy. First of all, I want him to work forever.
Of course.
But I think he should have done the thing he did with Stern, where he walks around in the bikini or whatever. That's what he should have been forced. He should have done that.
He said, "I will quit.
I will retire
if the
Diamondbacks get to the World Series." They did, and then he reneged on that. And then Howard said, "Well, what you need to do is you need to walk around in a bikini." And he said, "Fine, I'll do that." And then no, not doing that either.
Oh, Howard's done with him.
I don't blame him.
Howard's furious.
I don't blame him.
So Game 2 was the lowest watched World
don't
Series
make
game of all
statements like
time.
Yeah,
With 8.15
Game
million.
2. Okay.
2 nights later, Game 3 set a new record low of fewer than 8.13 million.
Yeah.
Tuesday night's
crazy.
Game 4 saw a jump back above the numbers for Games 2 and 3, but the average of 8.48 million was still a record low for a World Series Game 4.
And we're talking about, what do you say, 28 million people watched Niners Bengals?
Yeah.
Yeah, meanwhile,
On 4
ESPN
o'clock.
is like Monday Night Football.
It's not even that.
Crushing it.
Like that's all. That's the NFL, but it's even the college football.
Yeah.
On a weekly basis,
It's the number 2 sport in the country.
College football competes against itself in
Yes.
every time slot, multiple channels, and it still delivers 2 games a weekend. That's better than that. I mean, it's nuts.
It's the number 2 sport.
It's the number 2 sport in this
Last
country.
year's World Series averaged 11.76 million
God, that's
a game. I mean,
Big drop.
that's a
$3 million.
huge drop.
Not great.
It's more than 20. It's like 27%.
Congratulations, Griff.
Yep. There
Griff
you go.
watched it.
There you go.
We need Griff Cam.
We had
I'm going to turn the camera on him.
we
He
had
doesn't want it, but he's going to get it.
the passing of the general last night, Orville, Ohio's own Robert Montgomery Knight,
General
83.
may come to you as no surprise that Zago was a big General
That
Robert
makes a lot of
Montgomery
sense
Knight man.
that he would be. Yeah.
Loved him.
I feel, yeah, I think that as a man who wouldn't let you swing a club at it was Olympic, yeah. That does not surprise me that would be in order.
There's a lot of in the generation above me, a lot of watch me do things. Watch me drink my coffee.
That's right.
Watch me play Olympic Club,
Yep.
even though you're a lovely high school or a college golfer,
You would
whatever it was at the time.
Go
And
far from it. You would be far from embarrassing to anybody.
what a treat this would be for me. No.
Play a par 3, Nate. Who gets hurt?
Like we're playing with the members at twosome. There wasn't anybody else on the course.
Nobody else was even there. Just watch. I can't
Carry
swing
my
a
bag.
club.
No, we'll just watch. Also carry
The
my
privilege
bag.
was for you to carry the bag.
Yeah.
That was the privilege.
Yeah.
And you thought, boy, it'd be fun to play a hole here.
Maybe even hit a shot on a par 3.
Be cool. Who gets
Like
hurt?
father, like brother.
Oh my God, that's unbelievable. You thought when he asked you to do that you would get to play a hole. You thought you'd get to swing a little bit, or did you show up thinking I'm going to play? Did you know what you were signing up for?
Yes, but I thought like while we were there, I was going to get to hit many.
balls.
And then once I showed them that I could hit, not that he didn't, Zago knew, but once I showed
Yeah.
the member, Jack Bieber, and I figured Jack Bieber would be like, all right, you're playing. Yes.
Do you believe, as this is a man who also walked off the course when you were going to beat him,
For the first time ever.
do you believe that your prowess, he was worried about your prowess on the course upstaging his own?
1,000,000%.
Because as you say that, that's
In
what
my
I read
opinion.
into it, that he thought, I am not going to have my nephew outplay me at Olympic with a member who's my friend. So
Yeah,
keep the clubs
one
in
of
the
his
bag.
best friends and rivals.
Okay, now I think
that's possible.
that's where I'm at. That's what
I
as
wasn't-
you said that to me, that was my impression.
I mean, his walk-off in Tucson is one of the all-time just unreal moves.
I will do it to my children when that happens. I'm doing
Too dark.
exactly that. Sorry, can't keep going. Not safe. I'll see you guys later. I'm doing that for sure. That's unbelievable.
That was like,
But that's what I think. When you told that story just now again, and you do all the math on it, and if you said that they saw you, so you were on the range,
no, I never even got to.
so
I
you
got
never
to
swung. So
swing
this
a
guy
club.
never saw you play, but your uncle had
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
yeah.
That's
I
what I
played
want-
many
I wanna
times. Zago taught me the game. He'd seen a lot of my golf.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think he didn't want you upstaging him.
The one
In front
time
of
that
his
when he's like, "Is it in the air?" and then he walks off. I'm like,
it's very good.
we're on like 16 or 17. I remember it was 16 or 17. I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
Too dark. And he had a pull cart.
cart.
And I just
Wait a second.
And he's
Where do
my
you even
ride.
go at 16 or 17? Like, you
He's
got to
my
go
ride.
218 to get to the clubhouse.
Yeah.
Gone.
Gone.
I grew up in the middle of nowhere in Montana, and yet I've crossed paths with Bob Knight a lot in my life. He loves to hunt, specifically birds. Like, he loved to hunt pheasants. And so when I was a kid, he put on a basketball camp in Shelby, Montana, which is near where I grew up, really middle of nowhere, Rocky Mountain front. And so crossed paths when I was a kid then. Then I was in Columbus for a long time, and he was on the 1960 national championship team. He was the sixth man. But in 2010, they honored it the 50th anniversary of that team. So that had Jerry Lucas and John Havlicek. Those were the dudes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, two of the top 75 players of all time. And then Bob was the sixth man. And despite the fact that he was every time that team got together, and I've been around him a bunch of times, he was the captain of it. Like, they followed. It was like, all right, we're going to interview. You're going to do it at 6:30. You're going to be there 5 minutes before. We're going to come in and we're going to be out at 6:40. You're going to do me, Jerry, and Hondo, and you're done. That's it. Like, it was, but he was very cool, but it was like, these are the parameters. You're doing it now, or you're not doing it. Like, this is how it's going to go. And they all would, whatever he did, they locked in. Let's do it. This makes sense. And anytime they were introduced in front of the crowd down there, he got the biggest reaction. Like, he got the biggest ovation. And he was a nemesis for them for years at Indiana. There's that classic game in the early 90s, Jimmy Jackson versus Calbert Chaney, that was a ridiculous game.
Calbert Chaney.
Both those guys were dudes.
Yeah,
but,
I hated when the Bullets drafted him and he was trying to usurp Rex's PT.
He was a hell of a player.
What
he was a
crap.
national player of the year.
It was not a good pro.
No.
Good
he wasn't.
college player.
No.
And when
Jimmy
you're
was a good pro.
And when you're a lefty, it just looks better.
Yeah, he was a sweet
Jimmy's a
college
great
player.
pro, and then
Yeah.
Tony Braxton brought them down.
Brought it all down. So Bob had that, and then this was probably a decade ago. I got a text from my brother, Dusty's Bar near where I grew up in Brady, Montana, and this isn't a one stoplight town. This is a one stop sign town and a one bar town. Like, there is a gas station, a post office, and a bar. And our family owned the bar for a long time, and my brother was bartending, and he goes, "You're not going to believe who came in." And no, probably not. And it was Bob Knight, the general. So the general comes in, he orders a Jack and Coke and a Snickers bar. And one thing I knew about Coach Knight is he did not want to be made a big deal about, but he sure did like it if you knew who he was. If that makes sense.
Of course.
So my brother gets him his things. Nobody makes a big deal, and he obviously knows who he is. He watched a lot of basketball, and gets him the Jack and Coke, gets him the Snickers bar, and says,
what a great order.
Isn't that great?
Jack and Coke and a
Jack
Snickers.
and Coke and a Snickers. Unbelievable. And so my brother goes, "There you go, Coach." And that made up until that point, he made no mention that he knew who he was or anything. Just took the order. A little twinkle in his eye, a little smile, put a $100 bill on the bar. Outski he went with his order. So that was that. And then he ended up pheasant hunting on my uncle's property. My cousin Ross Bishop drove him around, and they shot birds. So it's crazy. I hated him as a kid. I hated Indiana basketball so much. Hated him. But I've crossed paths with him all these different ways for a guy who, and now I look back and you see the videos of him with the golfing show, which is just tremendous.
Oh my God.
How much
Amazing.
he hated that, and the outtakes are unbelievable. That outtake that was going around yesterday of him after the '84 Olympics, identifying Jordan at 21 as the best player he's ever seen. It seems now but in '84, nobody thought that.
Telling the Portland GM, draft Jordan, and the Portland GM going, "But we need a center." He goes, "Draft him to play center then."
Right.
He's that good.
He's that good.
And they drafted Sam Bowie.
Sam Bowie out of Kentucky.
Sam Bowie.
Yep.
Yeah. Akeem went first.
Yep.
Akeem Olajuwon.
He
Sam
went
Bowie,
third.
And Michael
Akeem
Jordan.
was certainly a fine pick. And
Yeah.
given what you knew about the game at that time,
For sure.
you're picking him.
Yeah.
But Sam Bowie, not a good pick. Was Drexler already in the league at that point?
Drexler was already in the league. And so Portland's idea was we already have a two-guard.
Who was
So
also
it was great. It was really good. But it's kind of like what happened with on Winning Time with the Lakers, where they're like, we don't need a point guard. Why are we drafting Magic Johnson? And Jerry Buss was like, I don't care if we have Norm Nixon. You draft
He's
him.
Magic Johnson.
You draft him and you figure it out.
By the way,
in those days, they were trying to stack the positional, they look like we don't need this. We need this.
By the way, if you take those Portland teams and just move Jerome Kersey to the bench, and you ran out a lineup that was Terry Porter, Clyde, Jordan,
Kevin
Duck
Duckworth.
Williams, and Kevin Duckworth, they're winning a lot of titles.
Well, and imagine, because obviously Nike's right there.
A lot of titles.
Yes, they would have. It was a totally different sport.
It wasn't positionless. It was like, no, I have to have.
You have to play this spot.
But I would just be like, all right, Clyde Drexler was 6'7".
He's plenty. Yeah.
You're going to play 3. Oh my God, they
Solves it.
They would have been nasty.
I was lucky enough. We were
Had a young Drazen.
BG my senior year. We played in the Indiana Classic.
Yep.
Dan Dockich was my coach. Mm-hmm. Dockich and I had a great relationship. I wasn't even a full member of the media. I was a student media, but I was calling the games on the radio. But he took a liking to me. He's like, "You get it. You understand basketball.
Mm-hmm.
None of these other people that cover us do."
Sounds like Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he he's like, wherever you want to go on the trip, you got all access. So he took me to shoot around on Saturday morning. So we win Friday night. We beat Grambling, and they were playing Boise State. It was set up. Knight versus Dockich for the first time.
That's great.
So Saturday morning, we have a shoot around at Assembly Hall. The general literally walks right through the middle of it. No coach is allowed to. No other team is allowed to be here.
Who's stopping him?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm off on the side, and he says something to Dockich, talks to him for a minute, and guys are shooting. It's at the end of the shoot around. Dockich come over, I go, "What was that?" He goes, "It's his building. He do whatever he wants."
That's right.
I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
He goes, "Hey, in 10 minutes, you're going to go interview him in his office, one-on-one,
You
5
did.
minutes." He goes, "Whatever you do, don't piss him off."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Excuse me?"
How'd you
He
do,
goes,
Gibby?
He goes, "You got 10 minutes notice." It's not like I have a phone that
No.
I can prepare. Nothing.
Yeah.
No game notes. And I walked down this dark hallway. His secretary was there. She's like, "Oh, yeah, Bob's expecting you."
Yeah.
I walked in. Coach is sitting behind his desk and
That's awesome.
got 5 minutes on the pregame.
That's
And
awesome.
It was awesome. We got done.
How
and-
many questions did you get I'm guessing it's 2 max
Oh, no.
with the
No,
general.
he talked
No.
in sound bites. He would give you
Yep.
30. I'm sure you felt this. I was a little bit more veteran when I interviewed him, and that I'd already been in the business for a while. But he's one of the few people I was legitimately nervous to interview one-on-one,
Yes.
just because you don't know. We've all seen so much.
One
it's a
question
complicated
felt
deal.
like could set him
Yeah,
off.
yeah. Don't
Well,
phrase
sure.
this wrong.
Right.
But
so he gave
no. He wouldn't ramble.
right. He gave you a concise
Yeah,
answer.
I mean, it was probably a 20 to 30 second, maybe 40,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. He would answer the question
yeah.
efficiently.
Yeah. We got done with the interview, and I said, "How'd I do?" Because why not? How about a little feedback? And he's like, "You were great." He goes, "What do you want to know?" And we just talked hoops. He goes, "Did you play?" I go, "Yeah, well, play is a loose term."
So
was
true.
a-
You
I
were
was
great
a
on an
thug.
AAU
Yeah.
squad.
I was
Gibby.
a thug.
So,
Bill
and it was
Leader.
just, he was like, he appreciated someone who knew the game.
Yeah.
That didn't beat around the bush, that just went and asked the question.
You also had Dan's. You'd been knighted,
Yeah, you had the blessing.
Yes.
which
Yes.
is a big part of it.
Yeah.
That there was that too. So,
So, but
yeah, he was always great to us because the Wolf family was one of the longer boosters, ever, and so they always took care of him when he came in. So all the stations I was at were those, they owned them, so he would always be very kind.
yeah,
in
the
those
few
sense.
other times that we had stuff when I was with ESPN and everything, he was always extremely nice with his time, gracious.
Yeah,
He was a good guy.
yeah, complicated dude, but he was.
Yes. Not perfect by any
No.
stretch of the
He was,
imagination.
I was thinking
Who
about
is?
this. No, I was thinking about this earlier. He's probably one of the last guys from that generation who did not ever have to evolve. He was the same guy the whole way through, and it cost him.
I was going to say, his lack of
There was-
evolution led to his.
There's no question. But
No.
he never changed. The stuff that he did in the 70s, he did at
Yeah.
Texas Tech in the end. And, yeah, it cost him. But it was all there.
20-plus win seasons at Texas
Oh.
Tech. They had never had that.
No. Absolutely. Yeah, there's no question.
Is it Neil Reed?
Yeah.
Is that what the name?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, we'll hit you the matchup. We'll do the Browns defense versus the Cardinals offense coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Be part of one of the most passionate fan bases in the NFL. Join the Next Gen STM presented by Ticketmaster. It's the official wait list of your Cleveland Browns. Being a Next Gen STM is the best chance to become a season ticket member in future seasons. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/waitlist to reserve your spot today. It is time for the matchup presented by Ballybet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio. It is the Browns defense versus the Cardinals offense. And for the details, we go to Dr. Z.
Thank you.
Nope.
Thank you.
There you go.
Well, here's the hard part, kids. We don't know who's playing quarterback, although it does seem to be
A young Clayton Thune.
Clayton. Is it Thune?
Thune or Tune? I don't know. You convinced me of either. I got him confused with Clayton Thorson, who played
I
quarterback
think
at
it's Tune.
Northwestern.
I think
Is
it's
it Tune.
Tune.
All right. I got him confused.
How's
with
it
the kid.
spelled?
Thune.
Then it's Tune because he puts pronunciations on here as opposed to their actual names.
Okay.
If there's one that needs to be done, so he's got it as Tune.
Okay.
So there we go. Clayton Tune, Houston. We're gonna expect it to be him. This guy played a lot in college. 47 games, 44 starts at Houston, second all time there in passing touchdowns, total touchdowns last year. Threw for 4,074 and 40. Limited preseason action this year, 57.6%, 353 touchdown, a pick, 4 sacks, rating of 73.6. So this is a team right now that is without its top running back. James Conner's been on IR since week 5. Amari DiMercato did not practice yesterday. He is their leading rusher now with 195 yards in terms of the people that are active. They've got the veteran Damian Williams as well as Keontae Ingram on the roster. You've got a good tight end in Trey McBride, who's coming off a game in which he had 10 catches for 95 yards and a touchdown against Baltimore. They've got a good receiving room. Marquise Hollywood Brown, he's got 416 yards, 4 touchdowns, leads the team there. He has not scored away from Arizona. Rondale Moore has 147 yards rushing, which is the most of any wide receiver in the NFL, and a franchise record. And then they have Michael Wilson, the big rookie out of Stanford, their third-round pick. Now, he did not practice with a shoulder injury, left last week's game early. He has 401 yards, averaging 16 yards per catch and 2 touchdowns on the season. Good run-blocking offensive line, and they've been an explosive run team. 13 runs of 20 or more yards, tied for first in the league with Miami. 5.1 yards per carry, second with Miami. 29 runs of 10-plus yards. That is fourth in the league. They're the number 4 rushing offense. They have not been necessarily the most effective offense in the league. They're number 4, as I said, in terms of rushing. They are 28th passing, and they are 21st overall, 22nd in terms of scoring. They do not possess the ball for much, 25th in that category. And really, it's a new team. I mean, Josh Dobbs was their quarterback for the whole season.
Yeah.
And Josh Dobbs is gone. Dobbs was 1-7 as a starter. He's gone. Clayton Tune, or it could be Kyler Murray. But everything coming out of there, it sounds like now is going to be it's going to be Clayton Tune this week and Kyler Murray next week. Good run-blocking offensive line, and it is a big offensive line. 310, 330, 310, 320, 310 across the front. Yelled to Froholt, a name familiar to Browns fans. I think that we can, if we get them in passing situations. Look, our defense should dominate this game.
Yep.
They should dominate this game. We should be able to get them in obvious passing situations. We should be able to pin our ears back. We should be able to get after the quarterback. We should be able to dominate this game. This is a game for our defense to dominate. Our defense has been very good, by the way, at home. 12.8 points per game, 186 yards per game, best in the NFL. 101 pass yards per game, best in the NFL. 21% on third downs at home this year. That's also best in the NFL. We should dominate this team. This is not a good football team, folks. I mean, we're not trying to, make bulletin board material. It's just the fact of the matter. This is not a good football team. They are 1-7. They have lost 5 games in a row. They lost those games by 19, 14, 17, 10. Last week by 7, but it was really, I
don't even know what to make of it. It's such a bold play. It's November.
Well, and there's
snowy and
slush,
slushy and
dirt, grime.
You need like a carpet.
I bet he definitely has those like the.
Remember when Diddy had that guy with the umbrella?
Yeah,
that's what
Bentley.
He needs. That guy.
Guy's name was Bentley.
That Bentley guy. He needs that guy just sorting out where he's walking. Make sure.
Agreed. Yeah, this is not a good football team. They started off plucky. They lose by 4. They lose by 3. They beat the Cowboys, but since then, all double digits. And last week, while they lost by 7, that was really a double-digit loss to the Baltimore Ravens. So not a good team. We should be able to dominate them. Hollywood Brown, you don't want him getting behind you, but he's only averaging 10.9 yards per catch this year. Rondale Moore, watch some of the big runs there.
Is that much?
We should blink this team. I mean, this has shutout potential.
Yeah, it should be. Handle your business. That's the way that
Handle your
goes.
business. They scored 24 last week, but again,
They've been around 10, it feels like.
9, 10, 16. Yeah.
Yeah.
We should. Yes.
And that was with Dobbs. This is with this cat who's never played.
Correct.
Hey, Browns fans, enter today for a chance to win season tickets for the 2024 season from Sugardale and your local Meijer. Head to browns.com/contest to enter now. And don't forget to grab the Sugardale bacon on your next trip to Meijer. Coming up at the top of the hour, Deshaun Watson's availability with the media. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. OBM, the preferred provider of copiers and document services for the Cleveland Browns. They'll tackle any size office. Call 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. And now we head to the podium where earlier today, Deshaun Watson met with the media.
You're down.
Respond to yesterday's practice.
It was good. It was fine. Another work day in the books. You just got to keep progressing.
What chance do you think you have of playing this Sunday?
I'm not even sure. Just following the medical protocols, and we'll just go from there.
Are you even more that this is part of the ramp-up period to get you out there in practice, or does this mean that since you're out there in practice, you have a really good plan?
No, I mean it's part of the process. It's part of the protocols because you cannot throw and then just go out there and just try to play a game. So it's just part of the process, and we just take it day by day.
Considering the setback you had in the Indianapolis game there, how much more cautious are you going through this process again, coming back?
I'm not cautious at all. I mean, it's part of the process, and like I said before, the Indianapolis week was, I think, 4 weeks. So we try to, maximize or minimize how much I need at that time, and now we're going on 6 weeks. So, we just try to just stay the course, stay the process, but follow what the doctors say and go from there.
Do you have to ice it or anything? When you're done with practice, what do you do for your shoulder?
Just recovery stuff.
Which is?
Yeah, just recovery stuff, but whatever that requires.
Deshaun, did you feel that you had similar velocity on the ball as you did before the Colts game? Did it feel a little bit better? How can you describe it?
Yeah, I mean, it's getting better each and every day. The arrow's going up. The process has been very, very good. And we just, steady, just going day to day and just making sure that we're doing everything we can to build that strength and everything.
Deshaun, have you tried any kind of different braces or anything? Has there been an experiment in trying different things for support there?
No, sir.
Now, how about padding or anything? Because I know you're worried about taking another blow to the back there. Do you have any extra padding in there when you do play?
No, sir.
Just in general, I don't want to assume, how do you feel at this point?
As far as health-wise or just in general?
I mean, getting that shoulder back to like what you consider to be 100%. How do you feel in that process?
I feel, good. The process, like I said before, has been going up. We're right on track where we need to be for what I feel like. So just communicating with all the doctors and all the coaching staff and, make sure we're doing all the steps that we need to make sure that whenever that time is, I step on the field ready to play.
Did the week off last week, or the week away from practice, I should say, did that give you a big boost? Did that help you significantly try to get back sooner?
I guess it did. The biggest thing was, they don't want to put me in the spot where, I re-injured the shoulder. So, there's a fine line that you got to play with, and, you just got to make sure you doing all the steps that you need before, you can go back out there.
So is there told that on Sunday that, hey, let's kind of chill out for another week and maybe try to get back for those 2 big games against the Ravens and the Steelers? Would you be totally fine with that?
Of course I want to play, but like I said before, as long as we're all on the same page as a as a player, as a staff, and an organization, then I think that's whatever's best for the team, the best for the future of this team is definitely what we need to be heading to.
So is there a hurdle or a test that you feel like you need to clear before you return to the field, whether it's Sunday or down the road?
There's definitely things in the protocol that we need to clear before we can, get back out there on the field. But we just step by step, day by day. You can't jump in front of that. You just got to continue to take it one step at a time.
Could that happen by Sunday though?
I'm not even sure. That's a medical question.
So is this a decision that could be made Friday, or could you be a game time decision similar to the Baltimore game Sunday?
I'm not even sure. That's a Kevin question. So
nobody knows your body better than you. What percentage are you at right now?
I'm not sure. I can't be giving out no percentages right now.
When you look at those 2 games
I'm at
coming
40.
up after this, I know you guys don't necessarily look ahead and you try to keep the blinders on, but when you do look at the schedule, you see that you do have those 2 big AFC North games against Baltimore and Pittsburgh coming up. How does that factor into when you return and what your situation is?
I don't think it does. Right now we're focusing on Arizona, so I get the question and things like that, but right now, we're locked in on the Cardinals, and it's a big week this week for us to come back home in front of our fans and try to get the W. So, whenever that time comes, it comes. But right now, it's truthfully just day to day, and seeing how we feel.
How will you know that you're ready to go? Like in your mind, as Tom asked you, your body, but just how will you know when you're ready?
It's just one of those deals where you just know. I think we all know, from myself, from Kevin, from Joe and the medical staff, from everybody. Everyone's seen me when I was healthy, and then they see me when I was at my lowest too. So I think if we're all on the same page, we'll know.
How important has it been for you to kind of guide your teammates and when you're with the uncertainty, PJ and even Dorian, throughout these couple weeks that you've been dealing with this? How important has it been for you to be kind of like a mentor for them and still be involved?
Well, it's very important. And, whenever the injury did occur, that's one of the things in the leadership and the captain meetings that they made sure. They all looked at me and made sure that I was making sure that, I stay involved, stay engaged, because, guys that's been in the injury protocol before, tend to feel, kind of away from the team. But, we did a good job of just staying in tune in every meeting, at practices, talking with PJ and DTR and talking with the whole offense. So, I've been around, haven't missed a beat, and everything's been going well.
Deshaun, how much of this injury?
After the game? Keep his head up high. He played a hell of a game. He did what we need to do to have a chance to win. And sometimes the ball don't bounce our way. That's the life of the NFL. That's life. Sometimes it just don't bounce our way. You just got to go on to the next one and keep it pushing.
Deshaun, you talked about that. You mentioned pain last week. How would you describe that? The pain, the frequency of it, and the kind of pain you were feeling in the shoulder, and how has that dissipated over time?
It's been getting better each and every day, and we just slowly over and over. I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to get me to say some stuff, but we're not allowed to speak on injuries to that detail.
Yesterday, amongst the people that watched you practice, there were sort of, conflicting interpretations of how the ball looked coming out of your hands. Some people thought the velocity looked good. Other people thought that it didn't look like you really.
Who are these people?
Yeah, facts. I don't know who you're talking about.
Well, I'm just saying that,
if it's coming from fans, then I had that next question. Sorry, Mary Kate, but if it's not coming from anybody in the front office or in this locker room, it don't even matter at all. So.
Yeah, I guess I'm just asking, was the velocity good?
Again, it was a good day. It's been a good week. Progressing each and every day, and we just got to keep pushing forward, taking it one step.
Deshaun, real quick, I know there's a lot of people trying to make this decision together, right? You've talked about the cohesion, you, Kevin, the medical staff. Ultimately, how much do you feel this is in your hands when you decide, hey, I think I'm ready? Or is that more being dictated to you?
Man, we all got to be on the same page. I told the guys that I was ready in Indianapolis week, and that was my decision. And look, I wasn't ready. So I tried to jump the gun a little bit, and it didn't go our way. So at the end of the day, you got to listen to the experts and all the things that they did. It's my first time dealing with it, so of course I know my body, so I'm keeping track of everything that I'm doing and letting them know what's going on and what's good and what's not good. So, I think we all be on the same page and we all feel right when that time comes.
How do you think the rest of the guys have
We'll
done
end on this one.
kind of sticking together? And, it's a tough spot not having their franchise quarterback. So how do you think the rest of the guys have done, win the 4 games you haven't really played much?
They did a heck of a job. Of course the Baltimore game it is what it is. That happens. You got to give Baltimore credit, but the other 3, we had opportunities. We finished 2 of them. We didn't finish 1. It came close to it.
30.
Last minute, 40 seconds. So the guys been sticking together. A lot of guys banged up. A lot of guys has been pushing forward, and injuries happen. So everybody in this locker room understands this type of injury that I'm dealing with, and making sure every time they walk past me, make sure I take care of myself. And whenever I'm ready, they understand that I'll be back out there. So. We're all locked in on that. They know the competitor and the player that I am, and that I want to be back out there and help the team win. But if I can't be 100 and be beneficial for the team, then they understand that too.
Yep. All right, coming up next, we hit the matchup, our offense versus the Cardinals defense. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Your game plan for the season includes buying or selling a home. Howard Hanna has the answers for you, delivering a winning strategy for breaking down the game of real estate. As the market leaders in Northeast Ohio, more buyers and sellers trust Howard Hanna for their winning home team. Visit howardhanna.com/go Browns today for more. And now we head back to the podium. Offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt.
You're done. To assess whether we thought Deshaun threw with better velocity.
What'd you guys
yesterday.
think? What'd you think?
I thought a little bit.
Okay. I thought a little bit better, too. Yeah, he looked better. He, progressing.
Friday for the game.
Feels like it. You know, it's just naked eye, but, yeah, I think he's feeling better.
Who's your new starting receiver?
Who is our new starting receiver? We're going to play by committee out there. We'll see who lines up out there first, but big shoes to fill. I mean, just hats off to Donovan. Sorry to see him leave, obviously, as a player and a person, but excited for his opportunity. You know, we'll have to have a couple guys fill those shoes. But
is this an opportunity for Tillman to see?
yeah, I think he's one of the guys that definitely will be in the mix there. You know, he'll find his way. It'll get him more involved than he has been in the past. You know, Marquise will be in there. We'll roll guys through that spot.
We haven't seen Tillman since training camp. What have you seen in these practices? Has he improved in any area or?
Absolutely. You know, he's a guy that we were high on coming out of camp. Made a lot of plays in training camp for us. Made plays in the preseason. And then just starting to ease him back into it the last couple of weeks. Now this is going to accelerate that maturation for him. But big body, big target, you know, brings a lot in the run game as far as a force blocker. And then can make plays, contested plays, high point the ball, the things that he does well. So he'll definitely be more involved.
You're looking at the Cardinals. They seem to have a lot of different weapons that are productive. They are among the league's best in sacks, tackles for loss. When you play against a team that seems to have bullets flying from lots of different areas, does that make it more difficult for you to game plan?
Yeah, definitely. They're multiple in what they do, multiple personnel groupings, you know, multiple coverages, structures, their pressure package is good. So, yeah, it's definitely a week of preparation for us. You know, they present you some different looks that you're not used to seeing. So, like every other week, you just got to dump out the bucket of stuff you learned the week before and refocus on this defense, and they do present you some challenges. But, you know, I feel good after coming out of Seattle. Our communication was superb. You know, our operation was great. Had one false start in a bad spot. So I feel like we're focused in right now. We're doing a great job of preparation during the week, and we'll be ready on Sunday.
With PJ, how do you, keep the aggressiveness and cut down on the interception?
It's such a fine line. It really is. You know, the interception at the end there, that's a freak deal. Hits off a helmet, goes 50 feet in the air. The one we had earlier was kind of a combination of three different guys. You know, we were a little late on a snap. We got edged in protection. Had to move him off the spot. You know, Dave kind of slowed down a hair. The ball flew a little bit, so that's a tough one. I'd like to get that back. But whatever it is, you know, we talked about it in our team meeting on Wednesday when the guys came back, just the importance of the ball. You know, we're terrible at it right now. I've been on teams where all you do is talk about ball security and all you do is turn it over. I've been on teams you never talk about it once, never do a drill, and you never turn it over. It's just that fine line. We just have to be hyper-focused, and when we're in traffic, whether it be in the pocket or with the ball in our hand down the field as a runner, we have to make sure we're doing everything we can with our fundamentals and our techniques to take care of the ball. Decision-making for the quarterback's a huge part of that as well. It's definitely something we've addressed. I feel like if we take the turnovers out of the games we've lost, we're going to at least be in a position to have a chance to win them. So we got to find a way to take care of the ball at all costs.
With David Njoku, seems like he's been more involved in the passing game lately. Was that like you guys made a concerted effort to do that? And why has he been able to have that?
Yeah, well, Dave's one of those guys where you want the ball in his hands. You know, he's such a violent runner with his speed and his size. Any way we could find the ways to get him the ball and let him take off is something, yeah, obviously we're going to highlight our marquee players, and Dave would be one of those.
When it comes to that, you guys had such a successful screen game. I mean, how much do you guys work that? It sounds like you guys working a ton. Is it more than other places you've been?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think Coach Callahan's technique and the way he teaches it, we practice it, every day in a certain segment of practice. So it's something that we've been good at here in our 4 years together. And, it's a strength of ours. The touchdown to Dave really was a design off of our screen game. So we showed screen to both sides to try to pull the linebackers. And it's an old play. It's been around forever. But when you screen well, you get those kind of responses. Then you can counter back with the kind of change up off of your screen game. So, yeah, we do put time in it. We pride ourselves in being a great screen team, and it was very productive in Seattle. So.
You got 155 yards out of your three running backs Sunday in Seattle. Just how do you feel that rotation is going with those three? I know Kareem was a little frustrated. He didn't get any touches there in that fourth quarter, but just where are you at with this run game?
Really, it's by committee right now. Everybody's going to get their touches. I see all those guys as 1A, 1B. They could all come in and be productive, which they've shown. That was our plan last week going in. With Jerome coming off of the injury, not sure he was going to make it, so we just wanted to put him in on third downs early, see how he felt, and then know that we could get him the ball in the fourth quarter with fresh legs. So that's kind of how that thing unfolded, but really impressed with all the guys. Kareem right now is running extremely hard. He had some great runs that weren't there and got 3 yards, and stuff that we had free rushers. So really proud of the way he's running with the physicality. Pierre has the speed and the vision. He can get on the edge. Did some good things in the wide zone game as far as the perimeter game as well. And then Jerome's that's the sweet feet where he can cut on a dime and make the move. So really, losing Nick was big. It took a lot of feet to fill his shoes. So we're just going to keep rolling with the guys and really happy with all of them right now.
MVP, how about Nick Harris's skill set and what you must trust about his athleticism to put him out there as a fullback?
30.
That may not necessarily be screaming, hey, we're going to run the football here.
Yeah, very talented, very, very athletic, very fleet of foot, get around blocks. He can do a lot of things, like his ability to lead coming out of the backfield, can help us in protection as well in certain schemes. But he's a guy that can do it all. Really can't wait to see him catch a pass soon. But he has a really unique skill set, and we're trying to find more ways to use him.
You're up.
All right, there you go. Offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt at the podium. Time for the matchup. Presented by Ballybet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio. It is our offense versus the Cardinals defense. For the details, we go to Dr. Z.
All right, again, theme, not that great. They are the number 27 scoring defense, the number 26 total defense. They are the 30th ranked defense on third down. They give up 23.3 first downs a game. And to put that in context for you, our defense gives up 12.7. So they're giving up double the number of first downs per game that our defense gives up. They have a lot of guys that can get after the quarterback. They play, it's a 3-4 is what they play a lot of, but they'll play when they have the 3 down linemen. They got the 3 big guys up front, and then they stand up Dennis Gardeck or Victor Dimokaji and Zaven Collins. They're the pass rushers on the outside. They've got a lot of people that can get after the quarterback. They cannot cover. Their secondary is dreadful. Starling Thomas, Marco Wilson, Antonio Hamilton, Garrett Williams. They do have Budda Baker. He's the one Pro Bowler on the roster. They brought Kaiser White over from Philadelphia. He leads the team with 69 tackles. He was with John Gannon in Philly in 2022. So 3-4, they're going to do some – they don't blitz much, but when they do blitz, it's typically a cover 0, an all-out blitz. Their blitz rate, 17.7%. That's 32nd in the NFL, but they play cover 0 8.2% of the time, which is the number fourth most in the league. So half of their blitzes are from that standpoint. They play 55% split safety, so middle of field open. That's cover 2, cover 4. They play 29% quarters. That's cover 4, number 2 in the NFL. They don't play a ton of cover 3, and they only have a single high safety 38% of the time. That is 32nd in the league. But conversely, we have a single high safety 79% of the time, first in the league. They don't play much man, just 21%. So I think it's a defense. They're going to put a lot of different looks at you. They bring pass rushers from a lot of different places. Sometimes they rush 3 and drop 8. Sometimes they bring people. That's what they did certainly against Baltimore. They rushed 3, dropped 8 quite a bit to try to confuse Lamar Jackson and keep him contained. Their sacks, though, they do get to the quarterback. And this to me is so interesting what's going on with them here. They have 24 sacks on the season, 8th most. They have 11 players who have at least 1 sack. That's second behind Baltimore has 13. 6 have 2 or more sacks. 5 guys on the team already have new career highs in sacks, and we're halfway through the season. Dimokaji, 4. Zaven Collins, 3.5. Strong, 2.5. White, 2. Ledbetter, 1.5. They have 43 tackles for losses here, 4th most in the NFL. But like I said, they're not good. Quarterbacks, 71% completion, 102 rating against them. Running backs averaging 140 total yards and 1.5 touchdowns per game against them. They've allowed 3 100-yard receivers already this year. They're not great. and our offense should be able to handle them. Now, sounds like our tackles back, and if you paid attention to scores earlier, we told you pretty good indication that would happen with Dewan and Jed. Njoku's back as well. Who's going to be the extra receiver? David Bell not practicing. We know Tillman's going to be number 4. Cooper, Goodwin, and maybe we see more Marquise Goodwin. That could be a good thing. I feel right now that Deshaun Watson will get out there for the Cleveland Browns. We'll just have to wait and see if that ends up being the case. But it seems like everything is trending for him to be the starting quarterback, our three-headed monster at running back. He's still very good. Jerome Ford, Kareem Hunt, Pierre Strong Jr. So I feel like it's a game we should win, and it's a game we should win big.
Hard to imagine it the other way. But, of course, weird things happen in this league. As Denzel said earlier, they whipped the Cowboys.
Yep.
But even that team is not this one. That team that beat Dallas is not this team that's coming in here on Sunday. When a medical mistake causes your injury, call the medical malpractice attorneys at 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Elk and Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Coming up next, we get your Fantasy Minute, also your mailbag. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Pet Supplies Plus giving you a chance to win tickets to home games all season long while providing the best deals for your pet at over 75 stores throughout Ohio. Enter to win at clevelandbrowns.com/Pet Supplies Plus and receive a coupon to use at your local store with your entry. Pet Supplies Plus, proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Before we get to the mailbag, a fantasy minute presented by Scaleco Capital. Scaleco Capital, investing in scaling companies locally. Dr. Z.
All right, quickly some news from Arizona where James Conner is on IR and Mari DiMercado is out with a toe injury, at least early in the early portion of practice this week. The team has signed Tony Jones out of Notre Dame, an undrafted free agent who spent time with New Orleans in 2020 through this season. He was released after 4 games with New Orleans, and they signed him on the season. 21 carries, 70 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also had 4 catches, 21 yards as well. So 2 total touchdowns for him in his career. He's averaged 2.8 yards a carry for his career. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. This is where we're at with this football team.
Yeah, that's where they're at.
Yep. All right, so there it is. All right, Fantasy Minute is where we actually are trying to go here.
That's right, sir.
That's right.
A lot of big buys this week.
Huge buys. Jacksonville.
Yep.
You got the Jags on a bye this week. You have got it's all good. It's all good fantasy. Niners.
Yes.
Niners, Jags, Lions, Broncos?
I think you might be right.
I think that I'm saying that not emphatically, but I do think it actually is right. All right, so what do we want here this week? Let's start with the quarterback position, because if you had Trevor Lawrence, you had Jared Goff, you're going to have to make a move there. You're going to have to change where you're going, and maybe some pick-up-and-play guys for you this week. So a couple of guys that I would go in the pick-up-and-play category. Sam Howell, I think, is a nice pick-up-and-play. Derek Carr against Chicago is a good pick-up-and-play. Baker Mayfield against Houston. C.J. Stroud against Tampa in that same game. And then I like, obviously, C.J. Stroud, as I mentioned, good. One I think that you could take like a little bit of a gamble on, Bryce Young against Indy. He's thrown it pretty well. And I like Heineke against Minnesota. That's not a good defense at all. So I think that you could maybe have some success throwing the football there. Well, don't forget, if you needed to go against the Washington Commanders, Mac Jones. This is more, we're getting really into the weeds
deep
here.
Yeah.
But they just traded away their pass rush. I
Yeah.
mean, their 2 ends are gone.
And there's like potentially 7 rookie quarterbacks starting. So.
Yeah, so you got to get it. It's not easy this week. All right, running back position for you this week. Obviously, it's all the normal people that you've been rolling with all year long. As you get into it, I think Zach Moss, even though Jonathan Taylor's back, he had another 60 yards and a touchdown. He's good. Flex him up. Roll with them every week. I like what Gus Edwards has been doing. He scored 3 times last week. Darrell Henderson, I think, is a solid start for you as well. If you need a Brown, Kareem Hunt, he scored a touchdown. He's clearly the goal line back. He scored a touchdown in 3 straight games, 4 touchdowns for the Browns over those last 3 weeks. So those would be some of the running backs that I would look at. Wide receivers for you this week. Again, you're going with the usual suspects. I think Devontae Adams has to bounce back. He's squeaky wheel. He's going to get some grease. Aiden O'Connell would be very wise to just get him the football early and often. Love what Gabe Davis has been doing for the Buffalo Bills. I'd like that this week. Josh Downs is starting to move into every week start territory for you. And yeah, those are some of the guys that I would look at wide receiver. Tight end, this is an interesting one. Darren Waller is out with an injury.
Yep.
Evan Ingram's on a bye. Laporta's on a bye. Kittle is on a bye. So that's 3. And Denver doesn't have it. So you're without 4 of the top tight ends is my point right now. So guys to pick up and play this week. Dalton Kincaid, I told you a few weeks ago to get him. If he's out there, you go get him right now. Trey McBride against us, although we've been excellent against tight ends, but last week 10 catches. You can't ignore that kind of volume. Different quarterback, though. Logan Thomas in Washington has been very reliable this year. Jace Ferguson, if he's on the waiver wire for the Dallas Cowboys, I like him. Donald Parham Jr. should be on the waiver wire in a lot of leagues. I think he's a good pickup and play against the Jets if Gerald Everett remains out. And then the other one, at some point, Taysom Hill is starting to get back into that territory where you got to play this guy. And the reason is he is putting up monster fantasy points. He has rushed the ball last week, 9 for 63 and 2 touchdowns. Against the Jags, 5 for 18 and a touchdown plus 4 catches for 50. So he scored a rushing touchdown in back-to-back games. And if you're in a pinch, you pick him up, you play him at tight end. So I think that is a good way to go.
Good job out of you.
There you go. That's your fancy
time
minute.
for your mailbag. And it's a Mailbag Thursday presented by the Cross Country Mortgage Mailbag, the official mortgage partner of your Cleveland Browns. When it comes to financing, they're always going to get you home. Visit CTM.com today. Equal housing opportunity, NMLS 3029. Hello, Gibby.
Gentlemen, tweet your questions, ladies as well,
That's
to
right.
@Browns_daily.
Sure.
A few from yesterday, a few comments and questions.
All right.
Cleveland is the reason. I don't know if you guys know this or not. Arthur Smith is so smug because he's the son of the founder of FedEx.
Come on.
Is that real?
Is that real?
I haven't verified that, but
Is that
multiple
it's on
people.
social?
Really?
I feel like that's a very quick Wikipedia.
A lot of people I've seen that though from a lot.
All right,
That's what I've seen.
I got
All
to
right.
get to the bottom of this right now.
Uno says confirmed.
Uno confirms it?
Frederick W.
Come
Smith.
on. So founder or CEO? I need a personal life.
Founder and chairman.
His father of FedEx, founder.
Jeez.
Smith's father is FedEx founder and former CEO. Oh my God.
I do whatever I want.
No wonder. No wonder he's smug.
Yeah.
Yeah, that explains a lot.
Jeez.
Explains a lot.
House money, baby.
Do whatever I want.
Yeah.
I felt like I would just be a NFL head coach for a few years.
Oh my gosh.
Add to the stockpile of money in my house.
He and Stefanski are supposedly pretty tight.
There you go. Well,
I mean, listen, it's good. Somebody seems good to know, even though he might not be the nicest guy we've ever come across.
Kev's dad ran the Sixers, so those are the circles.
Those are the circles.
Yeah.
Some Halloween candy discussion from the other day from John Costas, our good friend. Currently catching up on Browns Daily. I know it's assumed otherwise, but Reese's Pieces do not have any chocolate betwixt the shell and peanut butter. Still delightful. Go, Browns.
Great use of betwixt. I thought that I thought that candy shell had a little chocolate in it.
You said that yesterday emphatically, and I had some last night to test, and I could have been convinced one way or the other. Like you could convince me that
is
there was
chocolate
a
flavor
tiny
in there,
bit
a
of
hint.
chocolate in there. Maybe it's in the shell. I don't know.
Right, that's what I would think, in the shell.
That maybe there's a little bit of that. It's definitely the peanut butter is the overwhelming.
Yes.
I think as I enjoyed a few last night, what I noticed was it's the thinness of the shell that makes it so perfect. It's the thinnest damn
and
layer.
the peanut butter that's in that is a little different than the
It
peanut
is.
butter in the cups.
It is a little different.
It's a little lighter, a little smoother.
I think it is too. Yeah.
Love a dog today. Related / not related. All Skittles have the same flavor, but they have a different scent. I did not have that.
I don't believe that. I
don't
find that
know,
hard to
'cause I
believe.
love
Mind blown.
Skittles.
I don't buy that.
I don't believe the grape tastes like grape. The lemon tastes like lemon. It's not just because of the scent.
I can't just be the. I can't.
Scent is a big part of taste, though.
It is, but that seems.
I can't smell anything. Fell on my nose.
I don't
Ohio
know.
State, Michigan might have been intoxicated 10 years ago. You can tweet your questions to @Browns_daily, like Robert Pace did. What is the process for uniform selection each game? Who has the final say?
I believe, and I could be wrong about this, but I believe that it's typically a coach ultimately makes that decision. I think it's like laid out before the season.
Correct.
Yeah, some coaches really care about it. Like Sean Payton was adamant that the Saints always wear black pants. Like they never wore the gold pants when he was there. So some coaches have that. But like, for example, in Dallas, you can't tell me Mike McCarthy's telling the Cowboys what to wear. Jera's making those decisions.
Yeah.
So like, I think it just depends on
the
does
team.
the coach care? Does the owner
Coach
care?
finds out from Jer's
Yeah, come
Tuesday
on.
radio appearance.
Yeah, that's not any,
what the
that's how
attire
that's
is.
going. Yeah.
Cleveland is the reason. Newer father here. Congratulations. What would be one piece of advice each of you would give?
With a new father?
Yeah, newer father here. What would be one piece of advice each of you would give?
I would say make sure there's so many, but make sure I'm going to go away from like advice to actually how to rear the child to more advice for everybody's sanity, which I think will ultimately lead to a better environment in which to rear the child. Still make sure you still do things for yourself. Make sure your significant other still does things for themselves, and make sure you guys still do things together.
Yeah.
So that you are in a better frame of mind to rear the child, which is now becoming, you can't prepare for it. Even if everybody tells you, it's a game changer.
Yeah. My general rule of thumb is say no to everything, except if it's of asking of me. Like they have to earn the things that they get, But if they ask me, Dad, will you do this? Yeah, I'm in. Let's do it. What do we got to do?
Let's do it, yeah.
What do you need? Let's do it. Will you coach this? Yep. You want to go shoot hoops? Yep. Should we go play golf? Yep. All that. Because there's going to come a point when they're going to think I suck. It's already.
Just
I can feel
I'm
it
not
coming.
going to ask you.
Yeah, and they got their own stuff. I already see it with like NBC's. He'll be 12. Like that's coming. But for now, like in this age that they're in, they're all in this sweet spot. The days blend for me. But if they ask and it's that, I say yes.
If you have a daughter, make sure you buy a giant meat cleaver. Just have it on standby.
12 gauge.
Yep. Ben Lucht.
All right.
Favorite jersey of all time? Any sport? Good question. This
Teal
is a total
or
ziggurat.
white. The original Charlotte Hornets Rex.
I think, this is one that it's just whatever hits you personally, right? So for me, the Lakers yellow, Showtime Lakers yellow, that's perfect. That's a perfect uniform for me. But there's a lot of great ones. And they're usually synonymous with winning. It's usually when you think about it.
Not mine.
That helps. That was Alexander Julian designed those.
Yeah.
He did those and the Carolina Argyle. Carolina didn't have Argyle on the side of their uniforms, and then after he did that with the Hornets, it was such a hit. Dean Smith asked, because he's a Carolina grad, he asked him to do the Carolina refresh, and he put Argyle on the side of it. But up until that point, remember, they just had the Tar Heel foot,
the foot.
when Jordan played.
Those Hornets ones are so great. It's so weird that the shorts don't match the top at all.
Because the top doesn't have the striping,
the
or the
top
top
does have
but
the
the
stripes,
shorts
and the
don't.
shorts don't.
It is weird, yeah. The white one I actually liked.
I
The
have
white
it.
one really pops.
I have a game.
The teal on the white and the numers is awesome.
Yeah. The original teals were sand knits.
That's right, yeah.
But not the whites, which was weird.
Yeah.
Jersey Dog tweets at the show, who is your favorite former Browns player that left the team during your tenure?
Jarvis.
Top 3 if it makes it easier.
Jarvis. Love Jarvis.
I mean, half.
We never left the team.
He's still here.
He's a Brown always.
Is retired, not leaving
I just
the
think
team?
I didn't count him because he didn't leave the team. And he's still here, like we still talk to him.
Yeah.
He's the answer, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The guy that I love the most is like what he did as a player and the interactions that we had with him was Jarvis.
Yeah, Jarvis was
That
great.
my guy.
I really liked
and then Cole.
The great Cole.
The great Cole was
The great Cole. Christian Kirksey.
Bronco Bill.
Dude.
Bronco Bill. Billy Wynn. Josh McCown. Josh McCown was great. Great dude. Big play Gare.
Yeah.
We got a lot pre-COVID. We got a lot more of them.
Yeah.
Money Mitch was unbelievable.
Money Mitch.
Money Mitch
Mitch.
was unbelievable.
He's on Mount Rushmore.
That dude eating
Money
rallies
Mitch.
was.
He's got
I'll
a
never
black
forget
card
that.
to rallies. He's got a lifetime pass to rallies.
I miss
just-
Money Mitch.
just crushing it.
I'm going to text Money Mitch right now.
Tell him we just mentioned him and
I'm
we
going
love him.
to.
What's he doing? Who's Money Mitch with?
No, I don't think
he's in the league. He had a great run though.
He did. Love a Dog today. Seasonal preferences: apple cider versus juice, warm or chilled cider.
Cider.
Warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little, just a touch of the brown liquor. Oh baby.
Each of your greatest sports performances of all time.
Football versus Highwood senior year, 45 of 60, 454, 7 touchdowns.
Not that you didn't have that at the ready.
You got a whoa.
I remember
from
like
Griff.
it was yesterday. The first half, I was 18 of 20. It was crazy. Everything, 4 touchdowns the first half. Like everything just was ridiculous. And then I had a basketball weekend against our two most chief rivals back-to-back. Won one, lost one, sadly. But I went 31-31 in both games.
I like that little Reggie Miller.
Yeah.
Probably as a youth, I held for decades the 6 and under 25-yard freestyle record in the Bay Area. God,
you should have been Matt Biondi.
I could have
If you just would have locked in with your height, I feel like
I know.
how could you not
It
have
was
been
because
Matt
it-
Biondi?
You do laps in a pool too.
Oh,
it's pretty impressive.
He swam at Lake Erie when we were up at the lake. You just
Oh, yeah, I could swim. But
Yeah.
if for where I grew up, when I got to high school, baseball, golf, and swimming were all spring sports. So I had to pick, and I picked golf.
smart choice.
Yeah,
But you
I
might
think
have been
so.
an Olympian.
So I'd say that. In Little League, I had a couple of no-hitters in TOC, which was the big, like the districts, and then
That's
getting
right.
into the business. There were a couple of no-nos, which was
You'd be a pretty good
which was
pitcher,
pretty cool.
too.
Yeah, I could sling it a little bit.
Yeah, big arm.
And
out of
then
you.
I'd say high school, winning golf tournaments or whatever. And then I think as an adult, though, my walk-off eagle in the Brylow Invitational with Bowens is probably what I would remember the most. Oh, also leading a flag football team to the Georgia State
There you go.
Championships.
That's right.
After college. Throwing an XFL ball. I had an XFL. That's what I used.
It's nice. It's good.
It was beautiful.
It's
black and
was
red.
it? Yeah.
And I got the one that was, so they had like the game one.
Yeah.
And then they had their, all-weather one.
Yeah.
And the all-weather one, it was like made for my hand, and I
Yeah.
could just absolutely launch it. And when that thing's spinning good, black with the red, it looks
cool, yeah.
Yeah, I would just
That was
throw
a good ball.
bombs.
Yeah.
Joe Ross tweets at the show, Z, do you think you'd be able to go full Roy McAvoy and play a par round or close with a single club? I'll even allow you a putter for this exercise. So technically,
Par
you got two
round with
clubs.
what would you pick, a 7-iron? Probably not.
I feel like that'd be really hard.
Yeah.
I'd have to.
Depend on the tees, and it would depend on the course, but like
I'd
on
have to
your
do it
course,
at It would have to be at Walden.
At Walden with what would you pick, a 7? Most people say a 7 or a 6 when they play that game.
Just trying to think. A 7 I could hit all the par 3s with. Except for one. One of them I would have no chance. Maybe a 6.
I don't think so.
I don't think I could do it.
You're great, and I love you, but I don't think so. I think that's a really hard challenge.
Yeah.
I think the more better at maybe could you break 80?
If you gave me
with one
two
club?
clubs, I think I could do it.
Like, could you break 80 with one club?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of pressure on every single shot.
Yeah.
Like, with a putter, yeah, I think I could break 80. No way, 72. No chance.
Bobby time. Favorite ice cream
Hey,
flavor and
Bobby.
topping.
Favorite, excuse me?
Ice cream flavor and topping.
I don't have
Brambleberry. I love a Brambleberry crisp.
I don't have a
Fantastic.
topping. I haven't had it in many, many years, but I was a big Chunky Monkey guy.
Oh, that's a win.
Chunky
Yeah,
Monkey
that's
is delicious.
Very good. Yeah.
I should run that. I think I
Run
haven't
that
had
back just to
yeah,
see.
but then I think I look at the
No,
pint and I
if you
think
just-
it's like it's absurd. I mean,
Can't worry
we're
about
talking.
Jeez, what is he sipping?
He's sipping on a Perrier.
He's like straight out of a Busch Light commercial. that guy.
Unbelievable. It's just
Unbelievable.
He's peacocking around today.
Yeah, he's feeling good.
As he should.
He's running a business.
He's got some real heat on his feet.
He does.
Look at Big Drew getting some TV time.
He said,
Well, he
I
is.
said, hey,
Yeah.
I think you're in the camera.
That's
And he's
fine.
like, I know.
Well,
There he is. Get
what-
close.
What's there to
Yes.
be worried about?
We're talking personal achievements. Junior year in high school.
Let's go.
Get him close to the mic.
Junior year in high school, batting average, 757, top 10 in Ohio.
Good.
Wow,
Nice.
dude, you're raking.
How did you
And he
not
was
play
a
for the
punter.
Buckeyes hitting 757? Did you have the right launch angle?
What?
Did you have the right launch angle? How did you not play for the Buckeyes hitting 757?
Great question. There was a outfielder who went to the Astros, played for Ohio State. Ronnie Hillman, is that his name? Maybe?
Sure.
Ronnie Hillman was a running back for the Denver
Maybe
Broncos.
not. He played against my brother. He claimed my brother was one of the best hitters he's ever seen. So it must run in the family.
757 speaks
So
for
you
itself,
guys
coach.
were like the Bash brothers.
You really were.
Yeah, must have been.
Must have been, yeah.
Hey.
757.
757. So I thought it's an airplane.
That's pretty good.
That's like what Billy Hatcher hit in the World Series against the A's.
God, that's right. You had to deal with that.
It was something like
You're right. It was like 600. I wanted to say it was like 480.
No.
Willie Hatcher, something like that.
It was better than that World Series record. First thing you do is send
All right, we got a break. Real
set the
quick.
record for the highest batting average for the 1990 World Series, 750.
Come on.
Had 7
I wouldn't have-
consecutive
that
hits.
was- he was unbelievable.
Kyle Gratz, real quick in 30 seconds. Most famous person in your cell phone.
Ashton Kutcher.
Huh?
That's pretty good. I don't think I can top that one.
Yeah?
Used to have Jeb Bush.
I have the White House switchboard direct.
There you go.
There's one
What?
step from the Oval Office.
You're right there. So much more to come. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Don't miss Kevin's Fancy Show tonight. Z Gerard, 7 to 8. Pierre Strong and Coach going to join the program. We have a Thursday nighter. We have Tennessee at Pittsburgh.
You've already said
Pittsburgh.
it yesterday. Are you sticking with that?
Yeah, I like Oilers huge. Oilers huge.
Fine. I don't like it.
Well, I'm not a fan of it.
It's back-to-back weeks. A girl wants to go against.
No. This I'm not going to go against, but I'm.
It's just this is one of what the heart wants versus what the brain says. And
I don't know. I don't like that team.
I don't either. But sorcery.
There is, and it is
and Cam Hayward
in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
terrible towels, renegade.
I like the Oilers huge. Next level coming up next. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN.
Thursday.